In this critique video, we are going to talk about 22 long rifle handguns as a category of weapon. These are two modern ones. This here is a Taurus TX, which has become a very popular firearm. The Caltech P17, which there are a lot of people who don't want Caltechs. And there's numerous handguns made by different companies. This old high standard Sport King with a 6-inch barrel. Colt made pistols. Ruger is famous for the Mark I and that. Buckmark. Oh, there's a ton of brand name steel frame pistols that have been around for a long time. Now most people are going to the polymer, but you can still find plenty of these older guns, used guns. And also you can get down into the pocket pistol category, like with this Beretta. Okay? So I think this is, 22s are popular guns and it kind of fits in. We'll do a critique on these and, go through the checklist here. Alright, for shit hits the fan, basically survival mode, global disaster, you should really, in terms of a handgun, have something a little bit more powerful. The biggest thing people are going to argue is this is not a very powerful handgun. Okay. That's going to detract a little from the score, but they're lightweight, they're easy to carry in a holster or something, they're not heavy. These older ones are they are quite heavier than these polymer ones. The advantage in survival situation is the ammunition is small. So you can carry a very small cardboard box of 50 rounds in your shirt pocket. Kind of be difficult to do that with a flat box of 9 or something like that, or say even a sleeve of 100 rounds in a plastic container will easily fit in your front pocket, where you can't do that with 100 rounds of 5.56 or 30-06. Okay, so that's one consideration. Compact ammunition storage. Okay, ammunition carrying, enough ammo on your person, say if you were on foot, there is an advantage. Power-wise, you should have something a little bit more powerful than this, a 9mm at least. So I'm going to give this, for the survivalist type of thing, it's a necessary tool and it's useful, and we'll see that later on the checklist. So I'm going to give it, going to have to knock it down, I'd say, to an 8 in this category. Home defense. Now, home defense, a lot of times people who are not familiar with a handgun or have a lot of experience would get a 22 for two reasons. A, the cost of the ammunition is a lot less, and B, it's not that powerful, and if you're learning, this will be the gun to start with. So for home defense, if you're in like an apartment or your house, 22, while it is not ideal, is adequate enough at an extremely close range inside of a building without, a bullet hopefully flying through. And don't be fooled. Even though these cartridges are small, at close range they have penetrating power. Okay, so going through the walls of a house and that, very easily a 22 long rifle can zip through walls and stuff fairly easily, so bear that in mind. Home defense, I'm going to give it a 9 because they're more common guns. You'll probably find more 22s floating around than you will 9s, and for that reason there. Hunting, again, when we used to hunt deer up north, A lot of guys carried a pistol like this, a little high standard or some 4-inch barrel 22. You shot a deer and wounded it, and it couldn't get up, and it was, you'd walk up and you'd pop them behind the back of the head with a 22. So yes, they were used as hunting to dispatch wounded animals at close range. Or you can just hunt, you can hunt squirrels, rabbits, whatever. Revolver hunting is not an unusual sport. So, to take small game in the woods with a 22 pistol is a viable hunting skill. So hunting, we'll give it a 9. It is useful, and a lot of people carry as a secondary weapon a 22 pistol. Okay, at least at one time they did. General purpose sport shooting. Well, when it comes to cost of ammo and all that other fun stuff, you can't beat it. Okay, and, to take and train people who have never fired a handgun or handled a handgun before, a 22 is a good place to start. Okay, where they learn how to handle a handgun, to aim, trigger control, and everything. The recoil is not harsh on these. The ammunition is not that expensive, so you can sit there and go through, like when I was showing my wife, I just had her sit there and keep shooting, telling her, trigger control, this, that, everything else. And, you only spend a few dollars instead of 9mm or 45 ACP training session that could run you into like 80 beams, okay? So that's a good thing. And it's just fun to shoot, okay? So we're going to give that a 10. You can shoot this, considerably, get more rounds downrange than say a 9mm, and the ammo cost right there does it. Alright, militia weapon, I'm going to say no. I mean, if it's the only thing you got to bring during a natural disaster, that's more of a natural disaster. You're trapped and you have to defend your property because the law can't reach you, because the roads are gone, or some sort of a, emergency like that. This is not a good weapon. Not powerful enough. So I'm going to have to drop that down, truthfully, to like a 4 for that purpose under militia. Collector's item. Now, this example here, this Taurus or this new polymer one, this high standard sport came from the 1950s. This is a highly desirable pistol. This is a collector's item. Okay, they don't make them, like the expression goes, they don't make them like they used to, and this is one of them. High Standard was, one of the, as far as 22 pistols are concerned, they were one of the top manufacturers. The Army adopted models for target practice, and in the target shooting sport, High Standard was a name to be reckoned with back in the 40s and the 50s. Okay. I think they're out of business now, but these older guns are more desirable. Even after years of use, they are still in good shape. They still shoot well, and, they're a precision weapon. So yes, there are some of these that are collector's items. Some of the more unusual models and makes can be collector's item, but not all of them. I doubt this Caltech will ever be a collector's item, so I'm going to say for some of them, so we'll give that a 7 in terms of collector's items. Ammo prices and availability. Now that was a tricky thing. Ammo, like I said, the biggest thing about it is that ammo comes in small packages, it's easy to carry, 50 rounds, 100 rounds. We're carrying 100 rounds of 45 ACP would be a different story, just in the shirt pocket to go out and casually shoot, or when you go hunt, camping, or things like that. So the ammo, the the small amount of ammo or the size of it and the ease of carrying it or storing it, okay, space-wise is an advantage. Prices got crazy because what happened during the shortages, and there was a time around, 2010 or so, everyone made a 22, either a pistol that was like a scaled down version of a actual SIG or whatever, and they also made, there was a craze where they all made a 22 rifle that looked like an AR-15 or any type of strange assault weapon. There were several different models. There were SIGs, this, that, and everything. I even think the Sturmgewehr 42, there was some sort of a scale model that was a 22, the MP40. There was a whole slew of these guns at one point in time, and they became very popular. Granted, their cost was, a few C-notes shy of an actual AR-15, but people loved them. A lot of guys I worked with that really weren't into guns thought it was cool to have an AR-15 looking rifle in 22 LR that you can take the wife, the kids out, go out on your land and shoot it, have a ball, shoot at cans and that. And there was a huge amount of rifles. There was a huge amount of people looking to buy ammo. Then there was an ammo shortage. So now you got all these people buying these nifty little 22 LR guns, be it a handgun or a rifle, and then the ammo shortage come and drove the price up. Okay, 22 ammo was considered the least expensive ammunition to have or get. Okay, and that changed to 85 or 80 beans for a carton of 500. I used to remember getting them back in the old days, though. It was under $10. Okay, so the price has come down. Availability is there. The only thing, and we'll cover reliability, which is next, with any 22s, is there are so many different types of ammo, bullet shapes, everything else. I had a friend that had one of the Walter 22s, and no matter what federal ammunition we put in it, the gun wouldn't function. It would have stoppages, jams, and then we just put Remington golden bullets, come in a green box, the gold wax on there or whatever, the Remington greens. You can get them in a bucket. That ammo went in there, 100 rounds, went through the gun without a hitch. Okay, so if you get one of these nifty guns or any of these firearms, buy one little box of ammo, try it out. If the ammunition doesn't work, try another brand with a different type of bullet shape. Okay, and if worse comes to worse, like with any of these semi-automatic pistols, CCI mini mags or stingers, usually when you put it in there, the bullet shape is a little bit more conical or truncated, and they work in these guns 100%. Some of the least, a little bit less expensive, the Aguila or something Mexican ammo will work good in this pistol, but does not do good in this pistol. Okay. So that's about the only thing in reliability is an ammunition switch. And once you find an ammo works in this gun, it's kind of good to buy a couple cartons of it just in case another shortage or you can't find that brand anymore. So, but overall, reliability on these, like I said, is usually ammunition related. You find an ammo that works, and I've had zero issues with these guns. Okay, and I did reviews on it. Parts, repair, and accessories. Now, an older firearm like this, there ain't going to be much. You might find grips or something, but this gun really wasn't built to be accessorized, these old guns from the 50s. So you might not find something for an older gun, but the newer guns, like this Caltech, and especially this has been a wildly popular gun, the Taurus TX. There are all kinds of aftermarket accessories, sights, things, triggers, you name it. There's a lot out there, depending on the model. Now, one thing also is the newer firearms. Both of these come to where you can put an adapter on here for a suppressor. That's when you buy a newer gun, you will find that just about all of them have an adapter you can screw on the end of these barrels to attach a 22 suppressor to, which you will not find something attaching a suppressor to this. While it can be done, but is a whole different story there. A lot of them come factory set up for suppressors, and they are, you know, you have to pull this back, unscrew. There is a thread here. I'd unscrew it, put the extension on. There's a thin wall that comes out with a big flange. That'll accept the suppressor. And similar, very similar with this here. If you look down in there, this comes off with a wrench, and then you put another adapter on the end. So that's something to bear in mind. If you know, you can get a suppressor where you live. Well, it kind of comes standard on most of the guns now anyway. So that's something new. Alright, overall cost and value. The one strange thing I found about all of these little 22 guns, they are very popular, especially when someone inexperienced with a firearm comes in to look. They will go for 22 first and then work their way up to a 9 or something like that. Actually, when there were shortages and crises, they charged you over MSRP. I remember I bought this at the height of the crisis, and I paid a little over, I think $20 or $40 over MSRP for it. Had to order and wait for it a couple weeks. This one I kind of got later on. I kind of got it a little under MSRP, but now that things have slowed down, what's really killed me is I've seen these things available for half of the MSRP online. Granted, you got to tack half a C note on there to get it to you, but you know, still, that's a substantial discount. The value on these also, I don't know about resale. I've never, you know, I haven't tried to go and liquidate one. But chances are 22s, they will probably hold their value. You know, you could get somebody, especially if the price has gone up since I bought this. I probably wouldn't take that much of a beating trying to get rid of that as a used item. This here is a different story. This I would auction off because it is a collector's item. And lest we not forget our little pocket pistols like this Beretta here, these things do not lose their value. For some reason, pocket guns are popular, and whenever I see them used, especially these little Berettas, they still, you know, granted a new version of this is 5 C notes, okay? So these used ones, you can get 3 out of these easily, okay? In 25, 22, and that, you know, those calibers, and that's about what they make them now. So they do kind of hold their value also. Well, alright guys, that's it for this one. I'm going to get a couple more. I'm going to do 22 rifles and then hunting rifles. And I believe to finish off the series, I'll do one that kind of is like what every person, what type of firearm, the bare minimum of what you should have. I'm going to do a video explain that. Probably to end this series. Alright, thank you and stay tuned.